Hey everyone, Sophia here from My Great Challenge. Welcome back to my channel, and yes, it is spring again and I am ready for my garden experiment. So if you guys remembered last summer, I worked a lot of hours in the garden to set it up so that I can begin learning to garden. I want a vegetable and I want a flower and I want a fruit garden. It's been a long time coming for me to actually have a backyard I can enjoy. Last year I built a vegetable garden, I fenced it, and then I fenced the rest of the garden so that the dogs can go in there and I can protect all of my plants, including the fruits and the roses, from the deer. We have a lot of deer in this area and all sorts of critters, and my roses were almost entirely destroyed in the front yard, so they moved to the back and now everything is fenced off. So what are my goals? Because this is an experiment. I have had vegetable gardens in the past, and you've seen those if you've been following me for a long time, with some success and some failures, but mostly success. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm learning as I'm doing it. My main goal, I have a 5-year plan. Year 1 was to create the garden and the garden bed, and year 2 to 5 is going to be about creating a sustainable garden, kind of like permaculture, but something that will continue to grow year after year up to the point where we are almost self-sufficient. I am not saying I want to be 100% self-sufficient, but what I'm trying to do is take advantage of the beautiful weather we have here in northern New Jersey. We enjoy all 4 seasons, and I'm going to have vegetables and fruits throughout the 3 growth seasons. So spring, vegetable; summer, fruits and vegetables; fall, vegetables, and maybe some winter vegetable too. So it requires a lot of learning and it requires a lot of preparation. So what am I doing today? First, I want to give you a tour of what the garden looks like, since I would say 99% of the snow has melted. So you can see what the garden looks like at the end of winter. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what my plans are, what I'm going to do, where I'm going to place things. Then I have to prune the roses, which to me is super exciting. I don't know about you, but I really look forward to this, because the roses were sent to me by my father-in-law last year, and he got me totally hooked on roses now. I have 2 hybrid tea rose bushes that I almost lost to the deer last year, and I have never pruned them yet. So this is my first time, well, except when I transplanted them, but it was not real pruning. It was just kind of like trimming them down. So I'm really gonna get into that today. I'm gonna prune my roses. I did order a 3rd one. I'm gonna insert a picture right here. It's called Pink Peace, because they were sold out on the actual peace rose, but I like the pink one too. So every year I'm gonna get a new one, and eventually we'll have a lot of different roses. So far only hybrid tea roses. Eventually I'll get Floribunda and Grandiflora roses. We'll see, but we're not there yet. So this is what I want to do today, is prune the roses, and then I am starting my seeds indoor, and this is the area where the seeds are going to be started. Why? Because I'm in the kitchen, you know that. If you've watched me for a long time, you know this is the kitchen. I literally have 1 window here, I have 1 window there, I have a bay window over here, and I have 2 skylights. Just in case, I did purchase a light. We'll talk about it when we get there. So I'm gonna start the seeds. They're gonna start right here. And the first seeds I'm starting are the ones that are considered cold crops. They are the vegetables that can be transplanted in the garden mid-spring, early mid-spring. I already gave myself a little calendar of things of start indoor. I'm going to start seeds indoor every week for the next 4 weeks. And then I'm also starting in-ground seeds starting next week when the weather gets better. Because some seeds you can start in-ground even though it's still very cold outside. There would be your spinach, your carrots, most of the root vegetables, the radishes, the turnips, things like that. Today I'm going to seed bell pepper, eggplant, tomatoes, cabbage and broccoli. These are the cabbage and broccoli once they are seedlings and a pretty good sized plant. Even though it's still cold outside, I can put them out because they are considered cold crops and cold vegetables. Tomatoes and eggplants and bell peppers take a long time to, you know, sprout and become a hardy plant that you can transplant, so they will be ready for mid-May or just about. There's a lot of thinking involved in the rotation. When do you start? When do you transplant? When do you put them outside? This is my very first year doing seeds indoors. I've never done this before. I'm a little concerned that seeds won't grow. We'll see what happens. It's a garden experiment. So let's go outside. I'm going to give you a tour of what it looks like. Not the front, because there's nothing there really. And a recap of everything I've done, what it looks like after one full winter and lots of snow, and where I'm going to put things, what the plan is, and then we'll get started with the day, which is pruning roses. Exciting. And starting seeds indoor. Yes, healing time established 2020. There's a reason behind the name, and I think I talked about it, but here is my vegetable garden, and this is the first thing I built right here. This whole garden right here, and you can see we still have some snow. It's a little bit messy right now because, you know, we have some leftover toys and plastic bin, but you can tell that I've entirely covered it with leaves in the past fall. I don't know what that plastic thing is over there, and we still have snow over there, but we'll get to that area in a second. And then this is my two doggies enjoying the garden, and the second fence that I built with the gate. And over here, still a little bit of snow here, is the trench that's underneath, if you remember, that has a dry well all the way in the back here, because I was getting a lot of water, and this whole area here would basically become a pond after a heavy rain. So I've created this French drain right here to keep the water contained in the trench and in a dry well, and it can percolate. So all of this is basically a garden right after winter. These bushes here need to be moved actually, because this is going to be mostly roses. I do have some of the bulbs. I don't know if you can see it, but I have I believe it's a narcissus that's coming out right here, and I see another one right here, if you can see it. So I have a few bulbs that are poking out. This is an aster, and I'm sorry about the wind. This one is going to get moved too, and over here is the echinacea. It's going to have to get moved too, because this is all going to be roses. And here are my two roses. So you can see there's some damage here from heavy snow. All of this is going to have to get cut, and then, but when we get there I'll show you what it is exactly that I'm going to do. This one is Olympiad. It's a red rose, and then this one right here is the John Paul II. That is a white rose, and they are both hybrid. So when they are grown, they'll go all the way up to just about here, or maybe higher. So over here I'll put the pink piece, and then next year I'll put another one over there. So last year we did this bed right here, and you'll notice that I have this kind of a bottle kind of bulge right here. This is for second apple tree, which we have already purchased. It's right here ready to be planted. And the reason why I'm putting it here is because it's going to go straight in diagonal with the other apple tree that's over there, and we'll talk about that in a second. So there's nothing going on here really because I haven't planted anything yet. We'll have an apple tree right here. Right now it's 11 o'clock in the morning, so you see where the sun goes. The sun will turn this way throughout the day, so the apple tree will get the sun from 11 until sundown, and this one gets just about the same amount of sun. Over here, this bed here, because it will be in the shade in the morning and it will be in the shade around noon because the sun will be coming this way and the apple tree will shade it, around 1 o'clock in the afternoon when the sun is here all the way up to sundown, this will have sun. So this is the perfect area for partial shade vegetables, the broccolis. I could put peas and beans in here, and I can also mix with hydrangeas. We have a lot of weeds that have grown. Actually, these are not weeds, these are violets, and I have them everywhere. I had to figure out what I'm going to do with those. This is just the second trench that I built because of the water that comes from the back of the property. We have a source. This is about 1.5 feet deep, going behind the garage, and I needed to channel the water. And same thing, percolation. This is the other bed that I've created. And so this one already has some plants. We have some daylilies right here. We have some daisies over there. I do have a few bulbs here and there, but I'm not seeing them coming out. A little bit of an invasion here of violets. And somewhere in that area here, I have 4 alliums that I am not seeing coming out yet. So we'll see what happens with that. But again, I have to take care of all of that overgrowth here of violets. This is the Empire apple tree, and you can see that it's starting to have little buds coming out. It's not ready yet to bloom. Another 3 weeks maybe. Give me time to have the other tree situated. A little bench I found on the street. We have some daffodils that are already coming out, but you see that I don't have very good quality lawn, right? My lawn is mostly weed and all sorts of other plants. There's a fig tree that we planted last year. Now I was very concerned the fig tree would not pass the winter, but it's very obvious that it did. These branches are still flexible and soft. They still have sap in them. Same thing with the trunk here. So this tree is not dead. It made it. Pretty happy about that. And then on this flower bed here we have a few other plants. Everything needs to be cleaned out, obviously. These are asters and echinacea, various, daisies. Yeah, these are daisies actually, and that's another daisy, and that's an echinacea. They're probably gonna stay here, but they need to be cleaned out. So now we're gonna go inside the garden. And in the vegetable garden, there's nothing much going on here other than a big pile of snow that's still here. We have some leftover herbs. We have the rosemary, that's still good. Thyme, that's still good. Oregano over here, that's still good. This is lemon balm. It will come back. I just have to trim them. And parsley. And again, all of this needs to get turned. I'm going to try to avoid tilling. I'm just going to turn it and add a little bit more soil, because when you till, you actually destroy all of the good stuff that's in your soil. And this is the secret garden that I built last year. Same thing with a drain in the middle to capture the water from this pipe. Here it used to get all flooded. Now the water is 1.5 feet below in here. And I have those beds that I built. And here is going to be for mostly plants, flowering bushes, but the kinds that need a lot of shade, and vegetables that need shade as well. So the broccoli, the spinach, the Brussels sprouts, possibly peas and beans, definitely carrots and lettuces are all going to be in this area. A little mix of everything. And I did plant some bulbs here last year or last fall, but I am not seeing them coming up. So we have some plants here. I know that this is a big daisy that my neighbor gave me, and I have a bunch of hostas which I may move. And then those 2 pots here are going to be for the herbs, garden herbs that are propagating and invasive. So I'll probably have a mint in one and a lemon balm in the other one. And then over here, of course, is going to be all vegetables, but I will have vegetables on that side of the garden as well. So, yep, that's the garden. So that's it, that's my garden, and I think it's got great potential. There's so many things I can do in there, and I have the right combination of partial shade, full sun, full shade, so I can get all sorts of plants and really mix and match, vegetables and perennials and flowers and bushes. So many things I can do with this yard, and I'm not convinced I need to keep the whole grass area the way it is. I can still do beds in there. So many ideas. Anyway, when I come back, we're going to prune the roses, and I'm going to share with you a little bit of the knowledge that I have, which is not much, but I'm super excited about doing this because, as I mentioned earlier, this is my first time pruning roses, and I don't know, it's exciting. So I'll be right back. So here we are. I'm going to start pruning my roses. What do you need? You need gloves, and you need a pair of good shears. Now I'm going to talk about the anatomy of a rose bush a little bit, so that for those of you who are new and want to grow roses, you'll get a little bit of information. I'm not super knowledgeable, but I know a few things, and as I go along, I'm going to explain to you why I'm doing the things that I'm doing with this rose bush. I'm starting with the smaller one, which is the Rose Olympiad. That's the one that probably got beat up the most by the deer last year, and I see a growth in there that's going in all sorts of directions, and that is not what you want. You want the rose to basically look like a ball. Your bush needs to look like this. It's got to go and grow this way, not in all sorts of crazy directions. So let's look at this particular bush, and then I'm going to explain to you what it is that I plan on doing. Basically, this is your rose bush, and again, these are hybrid tea roses. These are the kind that you get for Valentine's Day. Very long stems, very long sturdy stem with one rose at the end. These are grafted, so let me pull a little bit of the soil here. And basically the rose itself is grafted onto another plant. They have a root system from a different plant, and then they fuse the rose onto it. And that allows it to have a very strong root system. So that's the graft right here. You have different type of growth here. You can see old canes that are brownish, and then new canes that are green. And then I have the ones that are broken that obviously I need to cut. So let's start by cleaning out what's broken, and then we'll look at what's diseased and what needs to be cut back. So very obviously this is broken. I'm gonna cut it here. This is a good cane, right? But I'm just gonna cut it here for now. I'll figure out what I want to do with it later on. This one is also broken, so we're gonna cut it right here where it's broken, and then I'll figure out what I want to do later on. And these, by the way, you can be very aggressive. This is broken, so let's cut it. Okay, you can be very aggressive, and what you want to keep is about 4 to 5. Sometimes you only have 3 left, but you want to cut as many as possible and cut them down to about 10 inches. You're not going to mess up. They will grow back. Trust me, they will grow back. Well, trust me, I don't know. That's what I've learned. Okay, so this is broken too, so I'm going to cut it right here. I'll figure out what I want to do later on. Okay, let's clean that up a little bit. All right, now I have some brown and I have some green. I'm going to scratch this a little bit and I'm going to see if this is dead. Yes, this is dead, so we're going to remove it. We cut right here to see if it is in fact dead. Yes, this is dead. So I'm removing this cane right here. Okay, you see? Now I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with this, because this seems to be dead, but this is alive. So I think I'm gonna keep this one, but I gotta cut it down. But I'm going to remove this here. So this one I'm keeping, and now it's splitting into 2. We'll think about it later. I gotta think. All right, this is good, but the issue with this one is that I have a little bud that's going this way. That's towards the center of the plant. And I have a bud here that's going towards me, towards the outside. So what I want to do is cut right above the one that's going outside. It's going to keep the stems and the branches from crowding the center. So I'm cutting right here, so that this one will produce a branch going up and outward. I'm going to keep this one as well, with the bud going out. So I'm cutting this. This branch here looks like it's diseased, so I'm going to cut this one right here. So for this one I remove the diseased part. Now this is crowding. See, this one is going out, which is fine, but this one is crowding, and then I have this going on here, which looks like it's diseased too. So I'm going to look at where I have buds. I have one right here. I'm going to cut it right here. Okay. This one has a bud going this way, so I'm going to cut this here. And then this one, the bud is right here going that way, so I'm going to cut it here. Okay. Pretty aggressive, huh? Alright, so what am I doing with this one right here? This one here is a problem. I'm not sure what I want to do with it. I do want to keep this one. This is dead. I need a bud going out, and I have one right here. I'll cut that. I don't know if you can tell, but this is no good. So unfortunately I gotta cut this whole one here. So unfortunately for me, this is all I'm left with right here, is 2 big cane and 4 small ones. Let's move on to the next rows. So you see that I removed quite a lot. We'll see what happens. This is Jackson and Perkins Spruce Food. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit, not a lot. And I'm going to work that into the ground. To loosen it up a little bit, making sure that when the sugar starts to come from the root into the plant and I get my first spring rains, that this plant food is actually going to go straight into the roots gradually. And help my plant. Now I don't want too much dirt on the graft itself because this is how you get rot. And I do have some concern with part of this plant already being dead. We'll see what happens. So unfortunately there's a lot of wind outside today, so I hope you can hear me. I cleaned this up a little bit. I cut down the dead wood and dead branches on both the Echinacea, well actually it's the Black Eye Susan, that's the name of it. The Black Eye Susan and the Ester, kind of scratched the soil a little bit to loosen it up for my next bulbs coming up. And then the two roses, you see, I've really aggressively trimmed down or pruned down. Unfortunately this one, I don't know what will happen to it, we'll see. But I don't have a dead plant, it's still very much alive, and scratched around, put some fertilizer for blooming roses. In about 2 or 3 weeks, all the sugar is gonna come out of the roots up into the stems, and we'll start seeing buds and small red leaves, and next thing you know, by the end of summer, if everything is fine, I will have again roses about this tall. We'll see, we'll see. So that's it, it's done. They prune, and to be honest, it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. I thought I was gonna agonize as to which one to remove. We'll see. I mean, I did aggressively cut them down. I've learned through my various reading and video browsing that it's not about how aggressive you are, it's the timing. So if you do it when it's still winter and the sugar is still technically in the root and didn't come up yet, because it's technically still winter, it's not spring officially until next week. What happened, and it's still very cold at night, it's still, you know, in the freezing temperature. What happens is that your plant is dormant and you're just basically preparing it and shaping it for its potential throughout the spring, summer, and fall, because these are reblooming, the perpetual basically throughout the season. But if you do it a little bit later, when the sugar is already in the branches, what happens is that you're still gonna have regrowth, but your stems are not going to be as strong. Your canes are going to be kind of flimsy, and as a result, you'll have less roses, but not only that, you'll have smaller roses. I want big, fragrant roses on very long, sturdy stems and canes. So the only way to do that is to really aggressively prune it down. Now, again, go to your garden center and look at what bare root roses and roses look like right now when you purchase them in the winter. ready to be transplanted in the late winter, early spring. You'll see that is about maybe 6 or 7 inches worth of cane above the graft, and that's basically what you want. So a lot of people think that roses are super fussy and that they take a lot of work. They actually don't. You just have to do the basic stuff, which is trimming them down almost to, you know, bare nothing at the end of winter, beginning of spring. And then of course you deadhead the roses, you cut them. The more you cut them, a lot of people want their roses in the garden, but they are meant to be on your table. The more you cut your roses, the more roses you're going to get, because you leave the room when you cut one for a new bud to pop up and give you a new cane for another rose. If you leave your rose on your stem, the bud that's below it is not being signaled to start a new rose. So you gotta cut your roses. The more you cut them, the more roses you're going to have. So that's what I have learned about hybrid tea roses. So it's pretty exciting. Anyway, when I come back, we're starting seeds, so stick around. Okay, so I'm super excited and I'm ready to start planting my first seeds. I have everything I need except heat mat. I didn't buy one, because this area here has the baseboards, right? And then I get sunshine, and it's the kitchen. It's kind of warm on a regular basis. So we'll see what happens. What is plan B if I don't get any seedlings? Well, first of all, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have some rebels that will not grow, but I'll have some. So we'll start with those, and then whatever I need after that, I'll have to supplement. Maybe I'll start the seeds at door. I'll have to get a you know, mini greenhouse and put it on the deck, or you know, I just scrap the whole idea for this year, and then next year after further research I'll do the heating mat. But I think I got everything, so I'm gonna show you all the material I got to start my seeds indoor. And yes, it's in the kitchen. Yes, I'm gonna have seed trays in the kitchen, but anybody who is starting seeds indoor, pretty much for what I've seen online in all of my homesteading, you know, backyard self-sufficient people, they all do their seeds indoors, and if the sun is in the living room, the seeds go to the living room. So it's not me being just like sloppy, and because I know there's gonna be comments, you know, some people just can't help themselves. But the bottom line is I'm super excited, and I hope you are too, to learn how to do this. I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, there's no doubt about it. But this is how I learn, by making mistakes. And the reason why I'm filming all of this and this process and this experiment is because I need you avid gardeners to give me pointers and help me sort all of my dilemmas and problems, so that next year we get an even better garden. So we're growing this garden together is basically what I'm trying to tell you here. Let me give you a tour of everything that I have, and we'll get started. And everything I have here, by the way, I will link down below so you can get your own. It's not too late, you can still start. Well, obviously this is the time to start seeds, but it's not too late because I got it on Amazon and everything came in within 2 days. So the first thing I'm trying is this. It's rapid rooters, plant starters. So they're basically little pods. I don't know if you can really see them in there, but they're already moist, and I do need to get a spray bottle with water. So there's 50 of them, so I'm going to start 50 plants. I got the trays, so these plugs basically go inside these, and then those trays actually have a little dome with a ventilation thing, so it's giving me like mini greenhouses basically. These are the little markers, which I'm going to need a lot of them, and a Sharpie to go with it. So basically you write down, you plant that in, right, and you write down what variety of tomato you got, because they all look the same when they start. LED grow light for indoor plants, and I'm going to show you that in a second. This was inexpensive, and it's pretty cool because it's got 3 different settings, 3 lighting modes. There's one for seeds, one for seedling, and one for established plants, so you'll see that. And then the seeds I had shown you in another video, and I've already done my little planting calendar and separated everything. So all of this is in ground and when to start them. So this one, for instance, is in ground August and September. So that would be the late summer, early fall for fall and winter vegetables. So there's a lot of turnip, parsnips, things like that. Here's April in ground, May 5th to May 12th, and this is based on Zone 6, Northern New Jersey, by the way. So these are the in-ground, May 5th to May 12th. This is based on the Farmer's Almanac, so I got peas and beans in there and some mesclun. I got mesclun pretty much throughout, in every bag, pretty much. In-ground, March 13th to 20th. This is now, so next weekend, I will plant spinach and radish and parsley in ground. And then after that, it will be the dill and then sorrel, which was sent to me and I haven't planted yet. I love sorrel, it's my favorite. Sorrel soup is delicious. And then onions and turnip. Okay, so, but that's in ground. Today, we're doing indoors. And you can see there's a lot of seeds for this week. So this is March 13th to March 20th. This is what we're doing today. Next week, I'm doing these chards, collard greens. The week after that, I have some peppers and I see some zucchini here. This is pumpkin, started indoor for fall harvest. And in May, it's basically the butternut squash indoor and the corn to be planted for June and July with a harvest of August. So today we're doing this one. So we don't need the light. Let's open this first. This was about $22, $23, something like that. They're called Mix C, Focus on Home Gardening. Keep this card to get help at any time. Okay. And I think I have enough. And the reason why I picked those over the other kinds that they had is because the reviews were pretty good. And people said that these particular pods here were strong enough to be able to pop your little seed starter when you need it. Okay, so oh, they do give you a bunch of these, huh? All right, well, I put them in double. Okay, so basically what happens is that you put this in here. I'm gonna do one, and you put your pods in there with your seeds. And then you put your little ventilation thing here. This gets closed. And whenever you want to vent, just like in a greenhouse, if you have a little bit too much moisture in it, you'll turn this. You'll see that there's corresponding holes in the top right here. I don't know if you can see the holes. Maybe this way. Okay. So that's the principle. I gotta figure out how this goes in here, I guess. Is there a better way to plug them in? Oh, here we go. All right, so that's plugged in. Perfect. So now this is really nice and tight. All right, so we're gonna start with number one. And then the trays, by the way, are a little bit higher than the bottom. So there's a little space right here. So I've heard that one of the things you can do is actually leave one of the pods open so that you can pour water directly into there so that the water goes at the bottom of the tray for your roots. But we're not at the watering level yet or stage. We are at the spray stage, which I still have to go and buy. So I'm gonna open this. And these are those little plugs, basically. This is what they look like. Okay, so we're just gonna, and they are moist, so we're gonna put one in every compartment except this one here that's going to be kept for watering. And what I'm going to do is basically prepare every single one of them. I have to decide how many seeds in each variety I need to plant, so that will give me an idea of how many trays, because I need trays for next week and the week after that too. I gotta think about that. And because I have really big fingers, I'm gonna start with the seeds that are probably the biggest ones here, and that's the California wonder peppers. So you use 1 seed per pod, and you just put the seed right inside the little hole, and you don't have to scratch the top and bring the stuff back on. So let's get started. How many do I want? Let's do 6. Okay, so I need 6 seeds. Now you see I got plenty seeds, right? I'm not going anywhere. That's going to last me for quite some time. So I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna put a little, where did it go? Oh, it's still on my finger. So I'm just gonna press it in like this so that it gets wet a little bit. Come on, stay in there. All right, so I got a seed in there. We're gonna do 6 of the California. Wonder peppers. I have no idea if this is gonna work. I'm going to monitor this like a hawk, because if it doesn't work, then I'll have to go get real soil. I'm just surprised you don't scratch anything in there and put soil back on. And look at how many seeds I got left. So if it doesn't work, we'll have to do plan B with those. But now I gotta mark them. And I'm using a Marks a Lot permanent marker. So let's see. I'm gonna write California wonder pepper, and we're gonna write the date, and that would be 3/14/21. Can I put the dome with this? Yes. Okay, all right. Let's do another one. Next, I'm doing eggplant, the Black Beauty eggplant, and I'm gonna do 5 because that's what I have left in that tray. So basically I'm repeating this process with everything I have, right? So now I'm doing cabbage, and I'm still working on the big seeds. That's the oven. And as I'm doing this, I'm realizing, you know what? I'm not gonna wait for it to fail. I'm gonna get the heat pads. They're not expensive. They're just basically like I'll put a picture right here. They're basically a plug-in flat mat that brings in heat, but I'm already seeing some kind of condensation in here, so it's obviously not that cold, but I really want this to be a success. So we're gonna buy heat pads. What I'm gonna do is calculate, once I put them all together, you know, like side by side, what size of a heat pad I need. They're about $20 something each, so I'll probably buy 2. just to get them warm enough. And you know, with Amazon, you'll get them like in 2 days, so that's okay. Nothing's gonna happen. But my concern is, like, I don't understand how the seed is going to sprout when it's at the bottom of the hole. I guess the humidity will make it sprout, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work. So anyway, I'm doing early Jersey Wakefield cabbage. So I wrote in my, by the way, this is my garden experiment notebook. I'm taking this seriously, y'all. I really am. You want to see how serious I took it? Okay, so these are all my notes, right? I'm not going to show you the whole thing because I got my zone and address on it and stuff. And I even have a plan. Look at my plan. Lettuce. This is the how would you call it? The secret garden. Okay. Lettuce, parsnip, right? So this is hosta cilantro. This is the sorrel. I plan on planting a lot of sorrel. And then roses times 3 apple. And then over here I have beans and peas, daisies. Zucchinis are going to be in the back because they need a lot of sun. Okay. So you see, I'm going to put vegetables with the flowers. Cherry tomatoes, they're all going to be around here. The fig, medicinal plants, I got to plant those. Okay. And then over here I have eggplant, butternut squash, beans and cucumbers, all the tomatoes here. So anyway, I'm dreaming. I know. So what I did now is I just made a list of what I just put in those pots. Okay. Now I was able to put everything but basil, black seeded Simpson lettuce, butter crunch butterhead, those are good, and ruby leaf. Okay, so for the next week when I do what do I have next week? Next week I have more kale, lettuce and Swiss chard. Okay, when I do that next week, what I'm gonna do is get potting soil. I want to see the difference in sprouting and success basically between those pods and potting soil, well, the starting seed soil, which is I think a vermiculate of sort. Okay, now I gotta measure this, and I think I'm gonna get 2 heating pads just to get them started. I think I need the heating pad just for the starters so that they start sprouting, but in the meantime I want to show you the lamp and then I will leave you alone for the rest of the day. I don't know about you, but I'm super excited about this. So let's look at the lamp. Right, so the lamp is not to be used right now because obviously there is, you know, nothing to give chlorophyll to. It's a clip-on, and again, it was pretty inexpensive. Okay, it goes on a timer. Let me plug that in. And it's great for houseplant too. It's not super attractive, okay, but it's got these flexible arms which you can orient whichever way you want. So if you have plants that are high, plants that are low, okay, you see that? All right, and then you turn it on, and there is 3 different settings. This is the one that is both red and blue. I don't want to blind you, but maybe you can see it. This is both red and blue. This is when the seedlings have started. This is off. This is on, okay, and this is the blue one. The blue one is for when they start sprouting, okay? So I don't have a lot of greenery yet. And then the red one is when they are fully formed and I just need good light for them. And then of course you can also dim it and make it very bright. Let me go back to the one that's both. So as soon as they, once they come out, right, I'll give them the blue light, and then once they're about an inch, I'll give them the blue and red. So basically it's in stages. And the great thing is that I can also use it for this plant right here if I wanted to. And then you can put it on a timer as well, which is probably what I'm going to do. Let me turn it off because I don't need it yet, all right? And it's easy to just, you know, fold together so you don't use it. So this is done. I'm super, super excited. Let me close this. I want to keep them closed for now because this stuff has to generate its own humidity and steam, basically. So this was Garden Experiment episode 1. It's a really, really windy day outside, but there's plenty sunshine for my rose bushes. I can't wait to get the other one. I have to check with Jackson Perkins when they're sending me the next one, but there's going to be a lot of roses. I love roses, but it have to be fragrant. Anyway, those, I don't know. The reviews are really good about these particular containers. The pods is a mix. Some people like them, some people don't. The next one, next week, when I do, and I don't know if maybe I'll just give you an update because we want to check on those seeds, right? I'll do potting soil, and I am going to go on Amazon and I'm going to buy 2 20 by 20. That should do it. 2 20 by 20 heating pads because I really, really want success. If only my property was bigger, I would have a greenhouse, but I'm in the burbs. You know, I'm in the burbs. So I don't know about you and if you're excited about this. Now, what happens if they don't sprout? I only have one of each. Well, that's all right. I'll have one of each. I'm gonna have between the stuff I'm planting directly in the ground and the stuff I'm starting here as seeds, I'm gonna have a plethora of vegetables, all right? Now, let's say they all sprout. And remember I said I wanted to be self-sufficient, right? Let's be honest. How many broccoli do I have? I have 5 broccoli. Where are we going with that? It's 5 days worth of broccoli, okay? Because it's just one head and then you get the little one. So very obviously this is not going to be enough. I would have to have maybe 20 or 30 broccoli to be self-sufficient. But there's ways you can stagger them. I can start seeds for broccoli now, and then I start more in 3 weeks, and then I start more again towards the end. So I can have broccoli and then freeze it and do all sorts of things, but it's better than the stuff at the store, I believe, because I don't use pesticide or insecticide unless it's really, really an infestation. And most of the time when I get a bad infestation, I remove the plant altogether and it goes in a garbage bag, and I make it disappear from my garden because it's small. It spreads like an oil spill, okay? And I plan on purchasing ladybugs, 100 of them. There'll be ladybugs everywhere because you need them for your aphids, for your roses. I'm excited. This is one of my big dreams, to retire and have a garden to occupy me during my retiring years. So I'm super excited, and that's it. So anyway, comment down below, let me know what you think. I know we spend a lot of time doing a whole bunch of nothing. For those of you who are not into gardening, you're probably going like, what's the point of this? The point is that it makes me happy, and I'm trying to share my enthusiasm with you and try to get you excited about gardening season. And maybe you want to try something on your little patio. You don't have to have a garden. You can start this at home and have 2 or 3 pots on your little patio and plant something. Nature is wonderful. It just is. I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, you guys. Bye. Hey, it's me, and guess what? Click that thumbs up if you really like this video. Thumbs down twice if you didn't. You can also share my video if you really liked it, or save it to watch later. Also, you can subscribe to my channel, but don't forget to click that bell button so you are always notified when I post a new video. Thank you for watching.